Hello everyone, welcome to my new Let's Play of whatever game title you just saw in front of you. Yeah, it's right there below the video. Anyway, I've been waiting to Let's Play this game, but I've been sidetracked on doing so many important things. We'll just have to begin the game anyway. I'll explain what I'm gonna do right after these opening cutscenes.
Fine time. Let your rats escape.
Fine time? There's no need for that. You're going to die here anyway. You know it.
I've heard about enough from you. I'll end this now.
Here it is. It's a happy new year from 2017, and now I'm going to do a Let's Play of one of my favorite video games, and this game is one of them. This is Dragon Ball Xenoverse, an anime game published by Namco Bandai. When I saw the gameplay footage of this game coming out before its release date, I was so excited that I wanted to play this game so badly. Why? It's because of two reasons. One reason is that I am a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. It's my second favorite anime, and I loved watching this show as a kid. At first, I didn't get what this show was until I watched it. The action was so amazing, and the characters looked awesome and quite memorable too. The art style and the story looks interesting as well. I got very excited when I watched Goku and company face these strong villains such as Cell, Frieza, even Majin Buu. I can just watch the show over and over and over again through my heart's content, and I'll never get tired of it. Do you remember Toonami? Well, Toonami has been around since the 90s, and the only shows I've been watching on the 90s Toonami was Sailor Moon, which is my third favorite anime, and Dragon Ball Z. My favorite anime of all time is Pokemon, but Pokemon came on the WB network, not Toonami. Speaking of Pokemon, whenever my family watches anime, the only thing that comes to their mind is this: "Are you watching Pokemon?" And then I said, "No, it is not Pokemon. This show looks similar to Pokemon, but it's not really Pokemon." Yeah, I know, it's really hilarious when they said that. Oh, look at me. I just went off topic for a second talking about Pokemon. I was supposed to talk about Dragon Ball Z.
So much fun. Since our victory match. Yeah, I think so too.
The scene that you saw earlier was the fight between Goku and Frieza in Planet Namek. I'll explain some of the knowledge of these scenes later. Plus, I'm gonna have to walk you through the timeline along with the gameplay. Right now, you're watching the scene between Goku and Perfect Cell. When you play this game for the first time, you'll eventually learn mechanics in a snap. It's very easy once you get used to it. If you love Dragon Ball Z as much as I do, you'll definitely love Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Alright. I better start fighting with everything I've got. If we lose, this whole universe is going to be torn to bits.
So now this scene takes place in the Majin Buu saga. Yep, this is the opening sequence of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. It's showing you the timeline with the history of Dragon Ball Z, and most of you are very aware of the series. The show aired in the 90s and it's still popular today. The genre continues to increase gradually and it never gets old. Never ever. What's really amazing about it is that the cartoons and anime today are inspired by the popularity of Dragon Ball Z. Even the characters like Goku and Majin Buu here on the screen are very memorable. What makes Dragon Ball Z a popular anime is the action. Believe me, when you watch the show, you're bound to imitate these attacks along with the yelling. This show makes you want to become a Super Saiyan like Goku and Vegeta. It's so much fun to do, and it's so awesome. I'll tell you about the characters later when we get to each of the timelines in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. As of right now, let's enjoy the scenery.
History is changing.
The flow of time. Something's very odd about it. At this rate, history. No. Everything will collapse.
Someone summoned you from a land far away. Brave warrior, now come forth.
Goku and his allies have made history with the Dragon Balls, but that history was in grave danger. Someone was empowering the rivals that Goku faced in order to change history. Trunks gathered the Dragon Balls and made a wish to Shenron. In order to defend the peace that Goku and his friends obtained, he wished for a warrior to fight with him. That warrior is you. You're probably wondering who this girl is. Well, after this cutscene, this is actually my second reason for me to play Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and I'll explain to you about that when we get to the gameplay.
You're surprised, I'm sure. I'll have to explain it all to you later. For now, let's see how much power you have.
Okay, so here are the basic controls of the game. I'm playing the Xbox 360 version, by the way. The left analog stick is your movement, and the right analog stick is the camera. All Dragon Ball Z games have the flight mechanic, where you ascend, which means to rise up, and descend is to rise down. To ascend, you have to press and hold the A button. If you tap the button instead, you'll do a jump. To descend, you have to press and hold the left analog stick. You'll mostly use the left and right trigger buttons in Dragon Ball Xenoverse also. Press and hold the LT button to fly around. And when you're flying around, you'll see an aura surrounding your character. That means it's flying at a decent speed. But if you tap the button instead, you'll do a step dash. So if you want to fly around in the area where you can just fight opponents and stuff like that, you just need to press and hold the LT button. That's all. You'll mostly use that technique more often. You want your character to have mobility in the gameplay, right? So this is all you had to do, just for the basic movement. The X and Y buttons are your attack buttons. You can press them alternately to create your combos. The B button is your regular key blast. You can stay still and hold the B button to shoot multiple regular key blasts. You can also use regular key blasts while moving the left analog stick, aka the control stick. Press both the LB and the B button to throw your opponent. You don't have to press both buttons simultaneously, just hold LB and then press the B button to throw your opponent. Pressing Y and B simultaneously is your knockback attack. I don't really rely on using knockback attacks that often, it's just another attack to knock your opponents out of the way. Okay, so maybe I wasn't even clear about the X and Y buttons. So here's the combo chart just to be more specific. You can begin your combo with either the X button or the Y button. You can study the chart as long as you want. The gameplay is really simple. Do you see the Y buttons being highlighted like this one? It shows you that you can hold the Y button down to do a charge attack. When you hit your character with a charge attack, you'll stun them for a bit. But if your opponent tries to block your attacks, use a charge attack to perform a guard break. That way, your opponent is open for any attack for a few seconds. Now here comes the fun part of the game. On the top left of the screen, this is your character's gauge. The blue bar is your health, the yellow bar is your ki, and the chartreuse bar is your stamina. The right side of the screen displays your enemy's health. If you want your character to stay alive and mobile, you'll have to pay attention to your side of the screen and use your strategies wisely. You guys already understand about the health bar, but your ki and stamina are the gauges you'll use most in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Your ki acts as a super meter, and you have super attacks and ultimate attacks. The super attacks are the ones you'll use frequently, and it only depends on how much ki will cost you. For example, the Gallic gun right here costs 1 ki bar, and there are some of the moves like the fighting poses doesn't cost ki at all. If you're out of ki, you can charge it into 2 different ways. One, you can charge ki by attacking your opponents or attacking air, and 2, there's a super move where you can charge ki, such as maximum charge. If your character is an earthling, he or she will charge ki automatically. To perform a super attack, press and hold the RT button and then press any of the buttons shown on the lower right hand corner. Here are some of the examples. The ultimate attacks are the ones you'll use when you want to deliver massive amounts of damage to your foes. And it's also what makes Dragon Ball Z the best anime worldwide. Everybody in the world would love to mimic these attacks if they were part of the anime, and I'm one of those people. It's so awesome to look at, and I would imagine performing moves like the Super Kamehameha wave. Anyway, to perform an ultimate attack, press and hold both the LT and RT buttons, and then press any of the buttons shown on the lower right hand corner. There's an ultimate attack where Saiyans like Cyanne here have a transforming ability, but I'll explain about that later in the story progression. You can only have 2 ultimate attacks. Here are some examples. Just remember to watch your ki gauge while activating both super and ultimate attacks. The B button is grayed out in the ultimate attack section, so it's pretty much useless in the entire game. We're moving on to the next button below it. The A button right here is your evasive move. Whenever you're getting pummeled by so many enemies on screen, you can manipulate your evasive move by knocking them all away. However, it'll cost you stamina to activate it. And that's another thing to explain about. Your stamina acts as a super armor when you unleash ultimate attacks, and it allows you to guard any attack thrown at you. While flying around at boost speed, it also depletes your stamina for a little bit. You have to be careful about your stamina gauge because if it's empty, the gauge turns gray and it refills until it reaches max. During that gray period, you won't be able to guard or fly around. If you use any ultimate attacks while your stamina is gray, there's a chance where you'll be interrupted with a single attack and then end up in your opponent's combo. You do not want that to happen. You have to float away and use your regular ki blast until your stamina is in color again. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. On this screen, do you see that yellow lock-on cursor on Trunks? Well, in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we have a lock-on system that's very helpful in the gameplay. To activate it, press the RB button on a certain enemy. If you're farther away from your opponent, or if you press the RB button again while the lock-on cursor is already shown, the cursor will vanish and the camera will reset into your character's position. There's a certain event where you have to defeat certain opponents or multiple opponents depending on the situation. This game has side missions just to show you the lock-on mechanics, but I'll explain to you about that later. There will be a situation where you have to fight Frieza and his henchmen, but you want your target to be Frieza. So you have to manipulate the lock-on cursor to emphasize on Frieza while eliminating the enemies that are interrupting you with pushover attacks. If you want to change your target, all you have to do is just toggle the right analog stick. You have to take advantage of the lock-on mechanics. Remember, you have full control of your character, so if you want to fight that certain enemy but the other enemies keep knocking you over and over again, use your evasive move just to blast them away. And then you can just focus on whatever attack that you're facing. Like for instance, if you want to face against Frieza and unleash your ultimate attacks on him, then that's what you're gonna do. You can eliminate the enemies around him if you want to, but yeah, I'm just saying that for example. Oh yeah, we're still not done with the tutorial yet. There are button inputs in the game, and that's the control pad. The left button on the control pad is your first person view. You won't be able to attack this way, but you can locate your surroundings and whereabouts of your characters and items all over the area. What's interesting about this feature is that the characters with scouters can sense power levels and attacks, depending on who they're facing against. The down button on the control pad is for communicating with your teammates. It's pretty reliable when you play with people online, and yes, Dragon Ball Xenoverse has an online feature where you battle so many people with your favorite characters. However, it's not very useful when you're playing single player. You have up to 8 comments, and the 4 that was shown already is right here. Plus, you can press and hold the RT button to switch into the other 4 comments you have. The right button on the control pad is your items. I've equipped all of these health items, and these are the items that I've used the most. There are items that increase your ki or stamina at max, and there are other items that cure you from any status conditions like poison or slowdown. Unfortunately, those items are very useless when you reach the climax of Dragon Ball Xenoverse and your characters become overpowered till then. The health items are your only tools that are mostly reliable out of all the other items in the game. There are times when you have to use these items when you have low health. If it's your first time playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you may have to stock up with health items, including the regen capsules, which restores your health gradually. And finally, the up button on the control pad is your missions menu. It displays your overall status throughout your missions along with the area and pathways shown on the left side of the screen. It also shows you the conditions on what you should be doing, like the winning-lose conditions. Sometimes you'll end up losing battles during the story and side missions, but that depends on the CPU difficulty and the level of your character. One more thing, if you're in trouble and you accidentally open up these pop-up menus with the control pad but you want to use an item, you'll get screwed over either way. Like if you wasted an item accidentally, or you got interrupted by an opponent but you wanted to use the item instead. Or it could be something else that wasn't supposed to happen. Make sure you get a good distance from your opponents and use that item wisely. So now you understand the gameplay mechanics. There are some advanced maneuvers to take advantage of, like just cards or any other advanced tactics you can pull off in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Sure, there are more features to cover in this game that I haven't gone over yet, but that's what I'm here for. I'll explain to you the comprehension of the aesthetics and mechanics of what this game has to offer for both beginner and expert players. Here's the rest of the tutorial menus of everything that I've said so far.
Looks like the little warm-up is complete. Now, it's about time you showed me.
Wow! You really are awesome!
You were chosen. Chosen by Shinron. Sorry for attacking you, by the way. I'll introduce myself. I'm Trunks, and I'm currently on a mission. As you can see, this place, it's not the world you're familiar with. This is the TokiToki world, where the flow of time gathers. You can call us the Time Patrol. When history goes off course, a false timeline is created. We work to correct any of these changes to history. As Time Patrol members, we'll fight all throughout time. Sometimes we deal with legendary fighters or dangerous forces. What you think? Would you like to test your power here? See how effective it is? Oh, right. I should probably explain a few things first. Look around. In this space, there are many other Time Patrol members. If you'd like, go ahead and talk to them. I'll hear your answer after you've had the chance.
This girl on the screen is Cyanne, one of the last remaining Saiyans in Planet Vegeta. Her origin story is still in the works, so I'll give you a brief summary about this character. She's an only child of two parents who trained her in order to become a better fighter. Suddenly, Cyanne's parents heard from their scouters that Frieza is invading Planet Vegeta, so they rushed outside, leaving Cyanne behind for her safety. When Frieza plans to destroy Planet Vegeta, Cyanne senses that power level, realizing that her parents are in danger. So Cyanne rushed outside trying to search for her parents. But when she arrived, she saw her parents being immobilized by Frieza's supernova attack. She then tries to save her parents by rushing into them and reaching out her hand just to grab them. For some odd reason, Cyanne was surrounded by an unknown white light and then teleported out of thin air, leading her parents into their gruesome deaths. It's really sad that it happened, and now she's all alone in TokiToki City where no one will take care of her. This is where Cyanne learns how to take care of herself. So, here we are in TokiToki City. I'll post a video of Cyanne's origin story sometime later after the story progression. Alright, now that the tutorial's out of the way, it's time for the history of Dragon Ball Z to begin. So in the next episode, we'll dive in straight into the objective of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. But before I end this video, I have to show you guys something. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. The reason why I came up with this idea is because I've seen Let's Plays of this game, where players begin a new game and they have to explore TokiToki City all over the place. They have to complete a story event, then complete some side missions, then return to the story events, and vice versa. I don't like doing it that way because all that scrambling with both story and the side missions will end up in a complete mess. That is, if I tend to do that method. So instead of beginning a new game normally, this is the order that I chose to commentate for consistent reasons. Okay, number 1. We have to complete the entire story mode in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Number 2. We have to complete all the parallel quests, which are the side missions in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Number 3. I'll explain about the exploration in TokiToki City when we get there. Number 4. There are mentors in Dragon Ball Xenoverse like Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and so on that will teach you how to use super and ultimate attacks. For example, if you want to use the Gallic gun, then you have to speak to Vegeta and make him your mentor. When we get to the mentors, I'll explain as much as I can about them. Just be patient. And number 5, I'll let you know when my character's origin story is finished. But for now, this is the order of events that I'll discuss in this Let's Play. Okay, so now we can end this video right here. In the next episode, we will begin Cyanne's journey in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. We're going to the timeline where Dragon Ball Z all began. Alrighty guys, I'll see you later.